All right. Good evening, everybody. What's going on, man? How's everybody doing tonight?
Good, man. Good.
Awesome.
Good, man.
Chilling like a dead fly.
Oh my gosh.
Excited to have TSPP join the Original Sports Podcast. First of all, I'm gonna have those guys introduce themselves. Go ahead. Let's start from the mic doctor. Go ahead and hit it for me.
And that you already said it, man. It's the Mike Doctor. That's THEMICDR. Everybody knows who it is. I came to get down, came to represent. I'm ready to talk sports with you fellas.
Chops.
Like you said, you know it is the BIGCHOPS man. I'm ready to do what I do, deliver the actual facts, was just in a different venue. Let's get it popping.
Matrix.
Hey, everybody already knows who it is. It's Lamar Lovelace, the Matrix, red pill taken, aka the Apex Predator. You already know what's about to go down on this show. What's going on, fellas?
Then my barbershop crew. What's going on? Let's start with Will.
Have a little technical difficulty.
Oh, yeah. It wouldn't be a normal podcast if we didn't have a little something going on, would it?
That's how podcasts go down.
Part of the game.
Sir. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
T Sizzle.
OSP sizzling it up with TSPP. That sounds like a 90s rap version going on here. So excited to get it rolling. Let's go.
We ready to
Hey,
go,
I want to double plug this TSPP group here. Sports Podium Podcast. Mike Doctor, you want to put it out there, tell people how they can catch on to you guys before we even get rolling.
Oh, yeah. You can follow us on Twitter at the Sports Podium Pod, man. We're on every available platform out there. We drop every Tuesday. We drop a lot of times on Fridays, and we're on a lot of other people's shows, man. So get out there. If you're on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, the Sports Podium Podcast, baby, rocking.
Excellent. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm just thrilled to death to have you guys with me. Man, I'm coming out of the gates firing. I'm throwing punches. I'm throwing kicks. I want to talk Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier. What a fight that was. Kind of sad to see McGregor go down like he did. I know a lot of people probably differ in my opinion of it, but I was kind of, I don't know why. I like McGregor. I like his brashness. I like the cockiness that he brings to the ring. I think that's what the sport's all about. Thoughts on the way that fight went down, because my personal opinion is if McGregor does not lay him out early on in that fight, it was going to go down like it did, basically.
Well, yeah, man, if you replay the fight in your mind, the first fight was a decent fight, and he clipped Dustin with an overhand left. And in this fight, he missed Dustin with two nice overhand lefts early in the first round. But like Tyson said, don't need to miss by a mile, just miss by an inch. And when he missed, he didn't connect. Dustin sat back, because when he first started out, he had to weather the storm for a minute, because Dustin, he came out and he hit Dustin a couple of times. Dustin gathered himself, started popping out that jab, threw a front snap kick, come behind that. And again, it was unfortunate what happened with the leg, and anything could have happened in round two. I get that. As we just saw, the way Oliveira won the belt at 155 against Michael Chandler. He lost round one, chokes him out in round two. So anything could have happened. But I think Dustin Poirier was getting that in round two, man. I really think he was getting after Conor. I think he was going to end up getting him in round two. That was my personal opinion.
Mar?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree. I mean, we talked about this on our show on Tuesday, that how Dustin Poirier, if it got down to that second round, he was going to knock him out. He was going to take him out one way or the other. And when you talk about chops, you talk about him actually missing with those two lefts. It's all about timing, right? Now he's fought him 3 times. He understands what he's bringing to the table. He understands what McGregor is going to bring to the table. He was prepared. He was ready. And we also talked about this Tuesday on our show as well. You know what? We start talking about somebody's woman. We start talking about somebody's lady. You got hell coming at you. And I think that, Poirier was ready to bring hell and unleash hell on McGregor just simply because of that. You're not going to talk about my woman and my family, man, and get away with it. I'm going to put my fist in your mouth and I'm going to break it off inside. And that's what he did. You know what I mean? So that's the way I looked at it.
Hey, JJ, what was your defining moment in that fight? Was it early on when McGregor couldn't do anything, or what do you think was like a defining moment to really set the tone for Poirier?
I think the defining moment for me was when I started to realize that he was getting really comfortable. Like after about halfway through that first round, he started getting really comfortable. So I felt like, man, he was definitely all over McGregor, and he was going to win that round. But then, as we all know how the round ended, you start reflecting on Poirier saying, yeah, when he tried to kick me and I pointed at his foot, that's when he heard it with this and this and that. So it got me to thinking and reflecting, which is the points that I was bringing up on our shows. I was like, man, did he probably hairline fracture, do anything like that to disrupt that foot like that, or that shin ankle area, for him to step back like that and go ahead and have a complete break like that? Because you don't normally see that stepping backwards. So it's an interesting take. And as Matrix said, the whole bringing the family into the mix, disrespectful. You already know he's going to bring it and give you his best. So, but at the end of the day, like Chop said, he was going to get him in round 2. There's no doubt in my mind Poirier was going to win that fight. And I think we've all seen, everyone's even come out, Khabib, everyone else has said, McGregor's done. Poirier wins that 100 times out of 100 times. I just think McGregor's game it's not translating anymore. It's not.
Agree 100%.
Will, does that fight go again? Do they run that back? Because that's a moneymaker, right? Do they run that back? Does McGregor heal up?
Mark, think about it. Dustin chose to fight Conor for the 3rd time rather than fight for the belt or even he chose to fight Conor rather than take the fight with Oliveira or Chandler for the interim belt.
Yeah.
Because the money was with Conor. And that to me is a flawed system when you'd rather choose another guy who's barely, like I said, could possibly be on the downswing rather than fight for the belt. There was a time when the belt was anything, that was all you ever wanted. And he turned down the belt because he could have made more money with Conor. And when they run it back on a 4th, figure Conor's got he's got the entire Ireland's all behind him. He's always going to be a big draw.
Yeah.
He's going to be a big draw.
His mouth gets him where he wants to be. And
it
might be the Jameson he's drinking. It's really, that's
Irish
helping the game. I heard Tyson didn't get in the ring without getting a couple hits, and that's what got him going. I don't know. I like to see. Hey, I like this. I like when he took him out and he did the billionaire walk. And he mocked him about. Let's see it. Get up. Let's just see that billionaire walk.
Yeah.
Does it become a better fight if he doesn't break his ankle or his leg or whatever in the hell it ended up being?
I think if that doesn't happen, then there's no doubt in anyone's mind Poirier takes him out and finish him. And
it doesn't matter of time.
It would have been a battle though.
It is.
They would have went throwing haymakers
for sure. But that ankle, when you see that, you're like, man, could he have got him though? Could Conor have done something? Survived, gotten around 2, recollected themselves, and looked for the big shot and taken him out. I mean,
I know they split. I know they split the first 2, but like Lamar said, he knew his game. Poirier knew his game. It's like seeing that team twice in the regular season.
Exactly.
Right.
Got them in the playoffs. You got him against the ropes. He knew
That's right.
He was doing.
Yeah.
McGregor actually going out with this injury, I mean, all it does is prolong his career, quite honestly, because had it gone 2 rounds, 3 rounds, it would have been a complete domination. It would have made him look worse than actually having the injury. So it actually saved him some time, made him some more money if they go 4 fights, but I thought it was over in the 2nd round. I think they shouldn't even run it back. That's my opinion. I said that before, but MMA's got a problem. They got to find a way to figure out how to make some guys some money, get more opportunities. So we don't continue to see Jaws 5, Jaws 6, Jaws 7. I mean, that's all we keep seeing is replays of the same fight. I want to see some fresh blood.
Yeah, some fresh blood. I agree. Well, I guess we'll find out real quick. I mean, he's talking already that he's going to come back. He's going to give it a shot. My favorite part was in the end when Poirier's wife just went out and gave him the finger, and she's like, shut your mouth.
Yeah.
Shut your mouth. I've had enough of hearing you too. He's talking about her being in his DMs in the end. And I was like, oh man, this dude just doesn't. He doesn't quit.
Yeah, he doesn't get it. But it shocked me that she would even do that, knowing his character, knowing how Conor can get. Why would she even DM him? I don't care if it, regardless of what it was, even though it was nothing, and he tried to make it something. You knew this clown was going to do that. You knew Conor was going to do that and try to throw her under the bus and embarrass Poirier and whatever have you. But like I said, he ran his mouth, you know what I mean? And he got what he wanted. He wanted to fight with Poirier, but he got what he wanted, but he didn't want what he got. Man. You know what I mean? So we'll see what they'll run. They're going to run it back though.
Yeah, because of the money, baby. It's all about the money.
Like I always tell the guys, I don't care if it's 2 old ladies.
All about the money.
It's a fight.
Hey,
I'll watch.
Anybody watching the MLB All Star game? I don't have it on because we're doing this, but probably when we're done, I'll go ahead and click it on. But is the value of the All-Star game what it used to be like when we were youngins? Minus you, Will. But when we were youngins, the All-Star game used to be such a premier thing. But I think since we got DirecTV and all these ways we can watch baseball, you can stream whatever your favorite team is out there. I think it's changed the appeal of watching an All-Star game where you would never see your favorite player. But if I'm a California Angels guy and I want to see Shohei Ohtani or Mike Trout, I can see him anytime now, right? I could subscribe and watch all California Angels games. So
it's changed before that.
Same thing with like the NHL All-Star game, the NBA All-Star game. It's just not the same to me.
Yeah.
Thoughts from you guys? Let me start with you, Will. Thoughts on that?
Man, is he on mute? Can't hear him.
Yeah, we can't hear you, Will. I don't know. We have to upgrade that mic. Terry?
The mic doctor, fix him up.
I'm talking about, man, look, here's my thing with baseball. And I love baseball. Played it as a kid, all the way up, youth, and absolutely love the game. But to me, I just invest so much in my hometown team, the Pittsburgh Pirates, right? And they just continue to let me down, man. And to see all the shenanigans and things that go on in baseball, it just, to me, it doesn't hit for me like the NFL does. You know what I'm saying? Not even like the NBA really, but I do still love it and still follow it. But at the end of the day, for me, it doesn't hit. So the All-Star game, although it's nice because it's an All-Star game, it's supposed to be nice, and you have the best of the best competing. But at the end of the day, I mean, outside of them playing that and watching a home run derby, I don't care about a celebrity game or anything like that. I mean, So baseball's kind of lost it to me. And even in their greatest moment outside of the postseason, which is their All-Star thing, it's not better than NBA All-Star weekend. It's probably better than NFL's Pro Bowl, right? But
yeah,
these guys
baseball struggles.
It struggles,
but I think it goes back a little bit further than that. And I think, we want to see our hometown team compete, but how many of us are collecting cards still, or our kids? I know Vinny is, but
Man.
$10 a pack. I stopped doing that years ago, and I think that's where it started. That's where the fanfare started to decline. Honestly, we don't know these guys' names. Can't pronounce half of them.
Man,
We don't have the cards. We're not doing stuff like that.
And
it doesn't do it for me. It doesn't do it for me. Now there are key players and marquee players that stand out in that pop that I do pay attention to, like Ohtani and Vlad, like Vlad Jr. We're doing this right now, and Vlad Jr. he just jacked one. I mean, almost.
Hey, Adam Frazier he did just get a hit though.
It's Terry.
That's good. That's what I'm talking about.
Terry, you talk about buying cards. I was just home this last weekend. Going through some old records, found 1990 NFL Topps rookie cards, had the entire sleeve, not even open. Bought it at Slap Shop. Ever hear that place? The Slap Shop card place at Vandergrift.
Was the gum still in there?
That's what I'm talking about.
That didn't open it. Mark was the one that I bought it from Mark's spot.
Yeah.
Going there all the time, and he said, "Don't open them." I still don't know who's in it. I still have no idea who's in it.
Give it to me. I just want the gum.
Man, you break it down by custody.
My son pulled. Check this out. My son pulled a 1-of-1 gold-plated some shit Thurman Munson card that Topps had put together.
Wow, the Dodgers went to Thurman Munson.
Yeah, we went to this card shop up in New York. We were up there recently, Binghamton area, and a guy gave him $150 for it. Actually, $165. He gave him $100 cash and $65 in a box of Score football.
Because I was gonna, man.
Speaking of 1990, you bought a pack in 1990. I was looking that up. 1990. That's the last time, or that's the only son Griffey. I was thinking of Griffey. Did you see him last night? I think he put on about $100.
Yeah, he was on big swole
after he retired.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1990, him and his dad hit back-to-back home runs for the Reds.
Yeah.
Woo!
That's
amazing.
Man, he was on swole last night.
What happened to Griffey's kid who was playing for the Steelers? Is he anywhere?
I don't know.
Not
That's
sure.
a good question. I don't know. I don't know that he's
wherever he is. He's
based
quite
on a
There's something for you all to There's something.
You know what,
wrong,
Mark?
look.
But going back to that baseball, that All-Star game, I think what it really comes down to, I mean, you start talking about how baseball has changed over the years, but quite honestly, there's just so much content. You know, when you look at football only has one game a week, right? You can tune into your favorite team one game a week. You can tune into your favorite secondary game one game a week. But when you look at baseball, it's on all the time. There's other things you can watch. Hey, matter of fact, we just got done with the hockey playoffs, right? The Stanley Cup was just over. You got the NBA playoffs going on. By the time you get to the Major League Baseball All-Star game, I mean, you're sitting there like, man, I got overload. I want to take a break, quite honestly, from sports in itself, unless I'm going back to the NBA finals. So I just think it's a lot of overload, quite honestly, for me.
Football's rolling back in.
Yeah, football's coming in. College football.
You know what,
you got
honestly,
the NBAs.
To me, it was a difference. I don't know. I can't say, I hate to make the statement that the players cared more, but there just seemed to be more hype. Maybe because we were kids, but there just seemed to be more hype around the All-Star game. Guys were mad when they were pulled out after 2 innings. They wanted to pitch longer. They cared about it. The only All-Star game that, and I don't even really watch it, but the only All-Star game that sort of tweaks my attention is Mike Doc said NBA All-Star Weekend, because I watch the slam dunk contest and some of the trick shots that guys will do during the game. You mean those? Other than that, like I said, in the NFL, they can't blitz. They're not running zones. They're not playing well. And they don't care much in the NBA. In Major League Baseball. So again, I don't know, fellas, if it's because we were nostalgic and kids, but it just doesn't seem that the
money has changed the game, man. The money has just simply changed the game.
Money and cable and satellite. I'm sorry. I go back to what I said at the very beginning. If you are a fan of a particular player who doesn't play for your team, you can still subscribe to Major League Baseball At Bat or whatever the hell it's called today. Go watch that player, pay your $150, watch your player all the time. When we were growing up, man, the only time you may get a glimpse of a guy was if he was on MLB Game of the Week, or if he made the playoffs and you watched the playoffs on TV, or if your parents took you to a game, wherever, Three Rivers Stadium.
Yeah. Terry went throwback. Did you hear him this week in baseball? That was Saturday morning. I watched it. That show.
I'll be honest with you, all of you. I really haven't been into the last time I can remember being truly passionate about Major League Baseball was probably the summer of '98 when Sosa and McGuire was just ripping them. That's really the last time I really remember just tuning in, wanting to see every moment. I remember just waking up every morning, wanting to turn on ESPN Sports Center to see if either one of them had Jack won the night before.
No, I do like the postseason. I will watch MLB postseason. I like the postseason. I don't watch
a little postseason, but not truly passionate about it. I don't know.
Let me ask you all a loaded question. If you're Pittsburgh Pirates, we're all Pirate fans. I get it. If your Pittsburgh Pirates were a competitive team, would you feel a little different?
Probably. I know I would.
I would for sure.
I know I would.
Can you name a starting line? Chops, can you name a starting lineup of the Pirates? Can you name who's in left field?
No. Who's on first, third base? No, I have no idea.
I mean, that's just it.
No idea.
And that's part of it. This is what I'm saying.
Fellas, you know what? But to me, it's hard for us because when we grew up, Matlock, Chico Lean, you know what I mean? Dave Parker, Andy Van Slyke, Barry Bonds. We had guys, and when you came to Three Rivers, baseball, they played ball. Now, and the fans, the players knew they better give it all because that's what Pittsburgh was. Now the ownership doesn't care to play. Come on, big up.
That's my issue is the ownership. So until the ownership changes, I mean, because they have a beautiful park, they still have the support of
the number one park in all of baseball, voted multiple times over.
Better. They deserve competitive baseball, and every time they they draft a player, develop them like a McCutcheon, they get rid of them. You know, they walk. A Garrett Cole. Come on, these are all those kind of type of players, man, that are Pittsburgh drafted former.
They could trot out.
And they leave.
They could trot out a all-star top 5 pitching. Unquestionably. Will, this is your thing right now. Will, I know you're a little sideways on us. Speak your piece though. This is your thing.
I mean, going back to the All Star game, I think it got less competitive when they stopped playing for like who got home advantage in the in the World Series.
Yeah.
I think that's when it stopped going like down. Like people just kind of stopped caring. And then with the Pirates, it's like, I mean, I could probably name it probably a little bit more than usual because it's just I care a little bit too much when I shouldn't because they're not that good. But I mean, I feel like if they put in a little bit more effort, they would get like back in 2013, they were selling out every game.
Right.
If you put in a little bit more effort, like you could get back to where you were.
Here's my thing. Tell me why. I understand why they do it, like why you get rid of a Garrett Cole when he's on the top of his game, you know, and you can get a haul for him in the minor league system. You can do that. And your hope is to develop them. But like you said, they can throw out an all-star of pitchers, but that's because they're always drafting so high because they're terrible. You know what I'm saying? They're terrible. They're terrible. Who's their best player right now?
Adam Frazier.
Adam Frazier.
And you know what? By the end of
that.
next week, he's not even going to be a Pirate. And there's a good chance that Brian Reynolds isn't going to be a Pirate. Those two guys started tonight in the All-Star game.
Okay, so I got a question. I was going to hold on.
That's their best player. This is a Major League Baseball team's best player. How many people outside of Pittsburgh do you think he is their favorite Major League Baseball player?
0.
But here's the question:
a lot of other teams, you can name players.
How many ex-Pirates are right now playing in the All-Star game? And I bet you they are somebody's favorite player. So when you talk about a Garrett Cole, when you talk about all these guys that they have actually lost because of lack of ownership, we had somebody's favorite player on our team. Major League Baseball is doing themselves an injustice by not allowing or forcing ownership to change in Pittsburgh, because if they did, you would have a more balanced team. You would have a more balanced game. You would have stars in other areas. And fellas, guess what? Pittsburgh is one of America's most livable cities, especially for baseball players. So they got to force something, because I think the Pirates could really turn it around relatively quickly if they had the right ownership. They have the players.
So from that perspective, their owner is one of the 5 wealthiest owners in Major League Baseball. Did you know that?
Yeah.
He chooses not to pay these guys. He's out worrying about other things and putting his money into places. I've had these conversations with other people who have insight on it, and they've said that his goal isn't to necessarily have a championship team. His goal is to be in the black and to reach a certain percentage of income every time he trots his team out every year.
Okay, so you know who he's like? He's like Drayton McClain was with the Astros. Until Drayton McClain finally got rid of the Astros and a new ownership came in, they were always going to be that team that was middle of the pack, had a lot of talent. But hey, if somebody comes in, they can become like the Astros, can become a juggernaut. I mean, they're not going, who knows, they're going to be banging on garbage cans and all that other good stuff, but they can become that team that can be a juggernaut in Major League Baseball because they have a farm club.
Do you want to get rid of the team? Or
Hey, Terry, Shohei Ohtani, is he the best player in baseball right now? Is he better than Mookie Betts, Mike Trout, Fernando Tatis Jr., Vlad Jr.? I mean, is Ohtani going to be a Hall of Famer someday? Because he really hasn't done it for more than a couple of years, especially this year.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he's going to be a Hall of Famer. 26, he's looking good. He's swinging the bat. He's throwing the ball 98, 100 miles an hour. They said, he's spending less time pitching than in doing more offensive stuff. I don't know if he's going to be a Hall of Famer. It takes more than 1 year of fanfare. I think he has the attention. He has the accoutrements. He has the talent and the skill. I don't know how far it's going to take him. I don't know if he's going to have to maybe switch over and just focus on one aspect of the game, or maybe not pitch and maybe play first base so he can be in the everyday lineup, because he knocks the cover off the ball. It was fun to watch him last night in the home run derby. And the kid's great. I mean, he's constantly smiling. He always reminds me of Elway. He's like that smile, but I wanted to knock the crap out of Elway. Just get that smile off your face. But he's a great guy. I love him.
Well, so you say, Terry, focus on one position or change. You don't think now again, he'd have to stay in the American League where he's a designated hitter, but if he can actually pitch and still designated hitter. It'd be hard to make the Hall as a designated hitter. But I think that'd be phenomenal. Have we had anybody to be able to do that literally since Babe Ruth?
That's what I was about to say, fella. He's pitching and he's leading the Major League Baseball in home runs.
I don't know
That's
how long
crazy.
it'll last. How long
That's
you think that
crazy.
can last?
I don't care how long it lasts. I just know right now,
Well, what part of it, Terry? When you say how long that can last, what part of it?
99, and he's jacking home runs. He's leading Major League Baseball in home runs. He's
keep up
leading.
With the demands of pitching
Once every 5 days?
and hitting.
But here's my thing though. Now again, I'm just a common Joe sitting at the house, but he pitches once. If he was even starting rotation once every 5 days, and if you can go have a major league pitcher go 5-6 innings, that's about it, because now they have middle relievers. And if all he's doing is swinging the bat, I think that's something like that. Because hypothetically, if you put him in a position, does he tear a knee? Does he jam a shoulder, tear up a shoulder, diving for a ball? Which can happen as a pitcher, but I don't know. I think that might be able to.
The question is which position? What is he focusing on right now?
If he can do it all, why focus?
He can do it all. Why
Both
focus?
of
He
them.
only DHs essentially when he's not pitching. He
So
only
that's what I'm saying.
he's only DHing.
How
He
much
led
time
off the
do you think he puts it in hitting? You know what I
he
mean?
led off the Major League Baseball All-Star game as a leadoff hitter, DH, and then he went to the mound and pitched.
Yeah.
Like that to me is insane.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
The more you can do, the more valuable you are. The more you can do, the more valuable you are.
But Terry's right though. I mean, how long can you do that? Essentially, eventually he'll have to pick one. You want to be a great hitter.
Why?
You want to be a great pitcher.
But why do you have to?
I don't think his body can continue to do that as he ages. I don't think so.
Actually, I think it's better for his body.
He pitches
But honestly,
once every
it's
5
going to
days?
keep him.
That's
It's
going to
gonna-
kill his legs.
I
He's
don't
not going to
know.
have that. He's not going to have that leg coming off the mound. It's
Are you as fresh every day today as you were 10 years ago, Matrix?
I'm always that fresh. I'm
Oh,
the apex
you're
predator.
Look at
also-
him.
You're
Look
also
at that
much,
guy.
I'm an
heavier.
Adonis, baby.
Hold on. You have players that play the field every day and bat. He would
That's
pitch
right.
every 5 days and then bat his few times a game. He's not playing. I mean, I don't know, man. I think he would play less than a traditional position player.
well, let's ask the expert. Will, what you think, Will?
I think at some point he's gonna have to not probably start pitch because throwing 80 pitches and then going and hitting. So I think at some point he'll probably have to go to relief pitching. But I mean, I think as long as he can do it and he's not giving up insane amount of runs, or he's not being able to hit, and if he's able to keep doing both, let him do both.
What would you want him at?
Here's the main.
But he's DHing. He doesn't
Here's
have to
the
be
ma-
in the field.
Here's
The
the main
DH
thing.
is gonna
Can
be
he do
across
it?
the
It's not
board.
a question of can he or can he do it. Right now he can. And can he do it long term? Maybe. But when they start shelling out that money and they start him Garrett Cole type cash, they're gonna be like, I want you here or here because I don't want the risk of you getting hurt and not being able to play one of those positions.
Okay, so Dave Brooks, who's watching us here, thanks David for tuning in. He said his work ethic is different than a lot of these guys based on his cultural upbringing as an Asian player.
Absolutely.
Unquestionably. And the other thing he said, and David is a big time baseball guy, but his boys and my son play baseball together. David says the bat is more important in MLB. The bat is more important in
Well,
MLB.
see, that's what I was going to ask. I was going to say, what would
Producers.
you rather have him as? Would you rather have him as a 98-mile-per-hour pitcher? Or would you rather have 33 home runs by All-Star break? If it's me, I'm taking the 33 home runs by All-Star break, and I'm telling him, hey, the pitching is done. I don't care if you come in as a novelty and pitch. I need you to hit 66 and be on the verge of maybe hitting 70 by the time, we get to the playoffs. That's my perspective.
What's everyone's projection he's going to finish with? He has 33 right now. What do you think he hits?
62.
I say he has 50. I think he finishes with 55.
I was just say 50s.
I was going
If
low
he stays
50s.
healthy. I'm going to throw that caveat out there.
Think
I
about
mean-
this, Mark. You see Stephen A. Smith got himself in trouble, but think about this. This guy, doesn't speak English very well, leaves
Right.
his country, leaves his family, leaves his culture, leaves all that behind to pursue his dream. I mean, man, and he's doing it. He's doing it. He's doing it. Here's the question. is where he's at now, is that the best fit for him? Do you fellas maybe see him in a couple of years trying to leave and go to a different market potentially?
David just said he's going to be a Yankee in a couple of years. David you just message that out. He's going to be a Yankee in a couple of years.
They usually get him.
And why not? Why not? Look at what the Yankees are doing right now.
Well, hold on.
Why
would anyone want to? Why Yankees? Please.
Don't pay the most.
Because they'll pay. Or he'll be a
Everybody
Dodger. He and Dre right
Matrix
down the
knows
road.
where I'm going.
I know where he's going
with that.
Exactly.
I know where he's going, but it's a different thing in baseball. And first of all, he's going to go where we had this debate the other night talking about, if you're the Greek Freak, why stay in Milwaukee when you could have went to a Miami and had all these other endorsements? Because the Greek Freak doesn't care about endorsements. He's a basketball player. He's an old school savant. When you talk about baseball, it's a little bit different now. Baseball controls their players in terms of, we want you to maximize your dollars. And they basically kind of push you into a direction where you're going to go. So Dave, who's listening, is absolutely right. He's going to end up a Yankee. He's going to end up in New York. He's going to end up in a huge, huge market because Major League Baseball controls that, and they have to maximize the dollars. Not only that, he's going to play for his country. So therefore, he's going to go to a bigger market where it can maximize those dollars. So a New York City would maximize that. So Mike Doc, I'm going to put you in your place, even on another show now.
You're agreeing with me. That's what I said.
But I told you in basketball, it's different.
It's the market. It's New York. Fellas, is it not New York? It is New York. You just sat up here and validated everything.
No, in basketball, it's different.
You talked about the market, the endorsements, that reach it. Why? Because of the bigger market. And that was the same thing I said.
Mark, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
Would you consider Philadelphia, the Phillies, a huge market?
I'd probably consider him in the top 10.
Top 10, but it's not. And I asked that because when Bryce Harper was at the top of his game and could have went anywhere, he chose Philadelphia because they paid the most. I am against these fellas, and me and Mike Dog go against this all the time because, again, it's not like when we were kids watching sports where you only got to watch one player. At the click of a button on the internet, you can watch any player whenever you want. These guys are getting drafted from overseas that we've never seen. I didn't know Ohtani before he got here, but a GM knew him. So to me, it doesn't matter where you go. If you're a top dog, you're going to get your money in salary. Dannon, Buick, Nike, they're going to come for you. Bryce Harper went to Philly, not New York. It's not LA, but he still got Gatorade. He still had his endorsements. I believe they're going to find you.
But he was getting that in DC.
Yeah.
He was getting that in DC.
I think he went to Philly for the better opportunity to win also.
He left, and then the next year the Nats win the
next year. As far as I'm concerned, the Nats knew what they had in the minor leagues. They didn't have to give a shit about Bryce Harper. They didn't care. They had Soto there. They had Robles there. They had Trey Turner. They didn't care about Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper, to me, I don't even consider him a top 10 baseball player, maybe top 20, but not even a top 10. I was glad when he left the Nationals so I could actually be, I could follow them and be part of what they had going on here. I don't like him as a player. He doesn't represent Major League Baseball very well. He was a very immature guy
flipping the bat, flipping the hair.
Yeah, giving the finger to an umpire, telling a guy to F off. Like, I don't go for that stuff. You don't see that from Trout. You don't see that from the other guys who have any kind of wherewithal in terms of representing the league. And they wanted Bryce Harper to be a face of the league. That's not a face of Major League Baseball. That's why Major League Baseball is in the position it's in, because guys like Bryce Harper try to be this punky type guy that they are. And I don't like that. I don't know about you guys. I don't like that. I don't want my kid watching that. I want my kid to follow a guy who's a stand-up guy who has character, who busts his ass and works hard. My kid loves Mike Trout. That's who my kid likes. My kid's following Ohtani. Yes, he's having a great year, but my kid was collecting Ohtani cards 3 years ago because he heard about him and saw him, and that's who he jumped on. He does the same in every sport, my kid does. He does not like what Tampa Bay did in hockey. We had a conversation about that, and there might be people out there watching us right now who disagree with me, but any team that manipulates a salary cap by $18 million and wins a Stanley Cup is not a Stanley Cup winning team to me. I'm sorry. I don't give a shit what the rules say. They still went 18 million over. They knew what they were doing.
Yeah. Oh, what one guy was sitting there with the shirt on, 18
Yeah,
made
exactly.
over the cap.
That's their
Mark.
fucking marquee guy who sat on the shelf but practiced for 3 weeks before he got to the Stanley Cup Finals when they could activate him and be over the cap.
Mark, think about this. Now I hear you on Bryce Harper, and you're not high on him. But
No.
if you go back when he was very, very young, you just said your kid plays ball. He was the phenom. He was the LeBron James of
Right.
baseball.
Right.
At a very, very young age. I remember praying Pittsburgh got the number 1 overall pick that year to get him. They didn't get him, but
Right.
so there's been a lot of pressure and a lot of hype and a lot of expectations for him as a kid, a young man, and now a grown man and an adult. And at the end of the day, he's just doing him. You know what I mean? So you got the Charles Barkleys out there. You got all those type of people say, I'm not here to be a role model.
Okay, so here it is, Mike Doctor. Well, Mike,
Yep.
when he was up in Hagerstown, Maryland, we drove up the road to see him play. All right, he's playing A ball in Hagerstown, Maryland. The stadium was like playing at Davis Field in Vanderbilt, Pennsylvania. All right, point blank, it was like that.
That's the Lenny Collini stage.
Right, and kids are waiting to get his autograph, get a glimpse of him. He stones everybody. Okay, I know you're a special talent. I know you played junior college as a 16-year-old. I get it. But you know what? Make a mark on these kids that make them want to be interested in following Bryce Harper, make them want to be interested in
How
baseball.
old was he at that time?
20.
Oh, when he was
You know what,
son?
fellas? But you know what?
He was
There's a
really young.
player.
He has people handling
19.
him. This is where
Right,
we're going.
there's-
This is what we're doing. Don't stop. We got to go here. We got to do that, especially as a young kid being drafted like that.
Mike Doc, you're exactly right. I mean, I could tell
Fire.
stories about LeBron James when he came and played in the Pittsburgh Hoops Classic that our family was part ownership of. LeBron James came and stoned everybody. Everybody at age 17 sat right there in Pittsburgh, looked right at everybody and just said, you know what? Not going to make an appearance, not going to come out, not going to talk to folks, not going to sign autographs. I'm sorry, he did maybe sign 3 items for us to put up for auction, but nothing else. Guess what? He's the same type of guy now as he was back then. Sometimes that's just part of who you are. And there's a fan base for all of these guys. I mean, I'm not down on Bryce Harper. That's just the style of player he is. But I'm sure he has a lot of fans out there that love him, that love love his style, love his moxie, love his attitude, the way he plays the game. So I'm not going to knock the guy completely, but I understand what you're saying, Mark.
Dave said AI used to do the same thing. He'd snub people, wouldn't sign for people,
Yes.
To the bitter end. But
Fellas,
you're right.
think
Hey,
about it.
speaking of the young Bucks, staying with Major League Baseball, the draft was held. Not much fanfare behind the draft of Major League Baseball. I know they want there to be, but for months, the lowly Pittsburgh Pirates, and I will use that word, lowly Pittsburgh Pirates, they held the number 1 selection. There was speculation it was going to be either Kumar Rocker, who ended up with the Mets, Jack Leiter, who was the number 2 pick, who ended up going to Texas. Pittsburgh went with a little bit of a cheaper option, they felt, with Louisville catcher Henry Davis. He's a stud, guys. He's a freaking stud. Hit 370, 15, 17 home runs. He is a stud catcher, okay? It's interesting to me, though, that Major League Baseball does not have a salary cap for baseball in terms of their teams at the Major League level, but they stick a salary cap on top of their draft. The Pirates' top 10 guys, they were only allowed to pay them $14.4 million. As it's slotted, the kid that they drafted, Henry Davis, $8.8 million is what he should make. That leaves you at what, a little over $6 million, or less than $6 million to pay the next 2 through 10.
Mark,
Okay.
and people say that's why part of the reason why they selected him, because if they went another direction, it would cost a little bit more.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. He did a killer job, though. I don't know if anybody paid any attention to what he did. I'm sure Will did. Will's a big Pirate fan. I know that for a fact, but he did a killer job, man. I mean, he drafted his first 4 picks had all number 1 grades, like unquestionably. Now, the problem with that is one of them is a quarterback who's already signed by Clemson. The other one is a defensive back, the kid who's going to Penn State, and then you got this pitcher that they got. He's a fireballer. 95 miles an hour. Hopefully he's already committed to a college, but hopefully they can change the direction. They said that what I read was that Henry Davis, coming out based on projected statistics, he's already ranked the 39th best prospect in Major League Baseball's top 100. So, does Major League Baseball have it kind of backwards, though? Sticking a salary cap on the draft and not having one on the actual teams at the Major League Baseball level. We could go back to talking about the Pirates like we were, and some of these other teams like Cleveland and the Marlins. I mean, should there at least be a ceiling? Mark, you look like you're ready to go. Go ahead. Let me hear it.
There should be a ceiling, but I'm going to tell you what the salary cap is for draft picks. It's the illusion that baseball wants to create, that everybody has an equal chance. But we all know that all those guys that were selected by the Pittsburgh Pirates will not be there by the time that they actually if they become stars in Major League Baseball. You just talked about the pitcher going down to Clemson. As long as he can, be the heir apparent to DJ Alongalea down there, he's not going to even make it to Major League Baseball, right? As long as he can continue to prosper and become a college quarterback, he's going to the NFL. Take that one out. You got the safety going to Penn State. Well, Penn State plays well and this kid ends up playing safety. He's going to the NFL. Take that one out. You got a system that is broken from the bottom up, correct?
Yep.
That, again, just creates the illusion. It's a feeder system for the big boys. And until you start playing with the big boys, it's not going to matter at all. Baseball's never going to change. There's too much money in all these major markets. We talked about New York. We talked about LA. We talked about Chicago. They don't want that money pulled away from those areas. It's never going to change.
I've often said that I think baseball should separate its faction into two different things. They should have a top tier with your Cubs and your Dodgers and your Yankees and your high price teams, and then put your lower tier teams down here and let them play with a total different set of financial obligations from that perspective.
Yeah,
Wow.
Mark, I have
Come on, we just sat up here and said, nutting, either spend some money or get out of here.
No, that's what I think. I think the owners should be held accountable.
So come on.
Owners should be held accountable. And I think the fans should demand more. I really do, man.
Yeah.
Man, you remember, Big Dog, remember when we go back, when we were watching the Pirates, they're singing "We Are Family," and then later, whatever have you. You could have stole City Hall when the Pirates played. Nobody was in the streets. We were all watching the games.
Yeah.
Now, the fans need to demand better.
Chops, tell them about the time you saw Honus Wagner.
That's it. Look here. He was say, that's right. Old is being cool. You don't get it. Old is being cool. But there's a time when sports, we demanded better, and the players knew they had to perform. Now they don't care, man. It's ridiculous.
Here's my question, Mark.
They're putting out there.
Mark, I have a question, and this is for Will, because he's the Pirates guy, right? That's it. We all love the Buccos, but he follows the intricacies of the game
Since he was a kid.
Right. The Pirates are considered to have probably one of the best draft classes, and rightfully so from where they're selected. But here's the thing. Is the organization going to take this draft class and make it work for them? Or are they going to, like Matrix and I just said, we're going to continue to see the same thing where they somewhat develop the players, and when they're on the fringe of all-stars or start making all-stars, they trade them away and basically reshuffle and start over again. What do you think they're going to do? Because a lot of people say there's new people out, that's running things, although Nutting's still the owner, give them a chance. That's what I hear a lot of people saying. What's your stance, Will?
I think Charrington's a lot better of a GM, but I say, you give it 3 years, and if they keep doing the same thing and you're there at the top of the draft again every year, it's going to be at a point where it's you kind of know it's not going to get better, and they're just going to have to just live with it. But if they get a new owner in there, they can start paying guys, and then could see some. But
don't just let them stay in the minors. Winning now, let them play in the majors. See what they do.
Where should Davis?
Yeah, I agree. Get them some reps downtown, but then bring them up, big show, and let them.
Where should Davis start? Where should Davis start, Terry? Where should Davis start?
He's got to start at rookie ball to learn the system.
You think he should be double A?
He's going to be double A.
He should at least be double A. As a number one overall pick, you should at least be double A.
Interesting.
Do you guys
me.
are you looking with the draft, what happened? Are you looking forward to the next 4 or 4 seasons where this draft could go?
Carrington's projecting 2023 to be a competitive team. That's what he's saying. Now, my problem with that is this. Why in the hell are you entertaining Adam Frazier, who's, I get he's 29 years old, but he's only going to be 31 in a couple of years. You need some veteran leadership, right? So you don't have to go out and trade for it. Sign Adam Frazier. He's talking about trading Brian Reynolds. We just got Brian Reynolds a couple years ago in a trade. What the hell would you want to trade that guy for? Those two guys alone. Those two guys started in the All Star game tonight. How do you have a team as bad as the Pittsburgh Pirates put 2 starting players in an All Star game?
I know. Will hit it best when Will said, when you get new ownership. Fellas, we believe the sun is going to rise tomorrow because it has so many times in the past. I believe the Pirates are going to continue to do what they've been doing until we get new ownership. Until they show me their new owners, we're here to win. We want to do something. Matrix has, he does always say how nice the stadium is, how nice PNC Park is. But nobody sees it because nobody wants to watch the Pirates play.
Chops, you said you could go see the Pirates play for free or something like that if you took donated tuna or something like that.
Literally, that you used to be able to see a Pirates game for a can. Seriously, you take a can good. You can see a Pirates game.
You could take a can good.
I'm serious. You
donate can good, you can go see the Buccos
Yeah,
play.
I remember those days.
Give me a can of corn, can of chunky soup. Get you free.
Can it be generic?
There is. Yeah, can of soup, buddy.
Fellas, at the end of the day, I'm going to ride or die with my Buccos, man. But they have got to change the mindset. You can't keep doing it's the definition of insanity. We all know it. Keep doing the same thing, expecting something different, a different outcome. You can't drafting high, developing, trading.
I think I know what Mark would say, but I want to hear from Will, the young buck. What was your mindset? What was your thought when they do the boneheaded play that went viral? What was your thought? He chases them back down. What was your thought?
Well, the worst part about it was I was actually at the game.
Wow.
Oh my.
Yeah.
He's got PTSD, man. You know what? Somebody's got to get him into a facility.
That's crazy.
ASAP.
That's at the major league level. That's crazy.
Oh my God.
Everybody knew except for him. It was awful.
That's a traumatic experience.
Man.
Yeah, it was terrible.
At the major league level.
They have back-to-back bonehead plays, though. Chops,
Yes,
back-to-back. Your star guy
Yes.
that you want to pay millions and millions of dollars misses first base on a fucking home run. What was the freaking first base coach doing? He wasn't doing his job, was he?
Admiring his ridiculous.
First, your job is to make sure the kid touches your base
Yes.
right in front of you.
I
And then
already knew
advances.
I already knew this was going to be Mark's reaction. I knew this was going to be Mark's reaction. I could see him throwing bricks at his own TV.
I want to know if he really thinks the base coaches really say anything like that. Like, really, I mean, if I'm a base coach, come on, bro, you're at professional level. You got to touch the base. If you jack one, touch the bases.
But you know what? That's part of his job, though. The first base coach and the
No,
third
his
base
job is to sit out there and say this.
No, it is not.
This is
His job is to make sure he touches first base and the third base coach make sure he touches
base
third
coaches'
base and home.
jobs are to stand out there and say this is an official position in baseball. That's it. So I'm out here. Now, you as the player, especially in an all-star game or in the Major League Baseball level, Mark, what would you say if your son jacked one this Saturday and missed first base? What's the first thing you'll say to him?
Vincent, you missed first base.
Dude, what are you doing? Everybody, you got to touch the bases. So why do you need a professional
Mark would be hot
MLB first base coach?
I'll be screaming at Vincent. But he knows better. That's it.
Because Vincent would have been a hot dog, and you don't go for that. If he misses first base.
Okay, so you want to go there. Check this out, man. You'll enjoy this. So Vincent makes his team wins the league and they make the tournament of champions. And we go up and we play this team who's really, really good from down the road. Okay. Pretty good, I'll say. They have a really good pitcher, and the kid can hit the shit out of the ball. He's almost twice the size of just about every kid out there. And he hits his home run, and he's walking down first base, watching it, holding his bat. And when he sees it go over the fence, he flips it over towards Vincent, who was catching at the time, and trots by first base and slaps hands with the coach.
I like it. He's looking
beside myself. I'm literally pissed off. And my friends that are there that are watching, or their kids are on the team or whatever, they're like, Mark, relax. He's watching this on Major League Baseball. And I said, that's the problem with it, guys. This is the character you want your kid to have. I don't want my kid to watch this on Major League Baseball and do it. I want my kid to hit that home run and run those bases like a normal hit and touch home plate, then go celebrate with his team.
Oh, come on, Mark. It's the game. It's the game. You got to be able to celebrate a little bit. I mean, if you jack one, you get to hold the bat a little bit. You get to flip the bat.
He walked down the first baseline, got halfway down there, watching it go over the fence.
Hey, look.
You're supposed to do that.
If you flick it back to the catcher, and you told you called that pitch, you see where it went. Don't do that.
If you launch one, you have the right to walk halfway down the first baseline.
No,
I'm sorry. You have the right.
Come on,
Mikey,
Terry.
Ask Jimmy Hutch if I watched those two that I launched out of Davis Field on him. Ask him if I watched those two that landed up in the bleachers over on Linden's side. No, man, I took off.
The ball's still rolling, Mark.
Hey,
Terry, you don't like swag in baseball?
Nah,
not at that. It's definitely not at that level. There's too many things that could go on.
they're little league kids. I get it. I don't want to watch a kid score a touchdown.
How old are we talking about, Mark?
We're talking 11 and 12-year-olds.
11, 12. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
We're talking 11 and 12-year-olds. I don't want to see that. I want to see you act like you've been there. That's what I want to see.
Routine pop. You got to run it out. You got to round the base. You got to get the second. There's probably 80% chance that kid's dropping that ball.
Yeah. Okay.
The kid jacked it, though. That kid, listen.
But how many times do we see in Major League Baseball, right fielder, second baseman, first baseman, all come in, ball drops right between them. They're all standing within a foot of each other.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah.
Totally agree. Man, we talked a little bit about football. You touched on it. Recently, I was reading an article about, and I honed in specifically on the top edge rushers in the league, because I felt like everybody knows Maraday is a Steeler fan, and all of you guys are too. But I felt like TJ Watt was slighted last year. TJ Watt had a hell of a year and should have been the DPOY, Defensive Player of the Year, for those of you who don't know what I just said right there. Here's the list that came out. The top 5 guys. Number 5 was Chandler Jones from Arizona. Number 4 was Khalil Mack from the Bears, who really – I don't know. I haven't heard much about him recently. Then number 3 was TJ Watt. Number 2 was Joey Bosa. And number 1, the hated Myles Garrett. What do you think of that list? Is that your top edge rushers in that order?
Let me take my helmet off and hit someone with it first.
Okay, who would we all agree is the top edge rusher? I'm surprised Chase Young's not on there after his rookie year, because
Chase Young had a spectacular year.
Even if it's 4 or 5, but who would we all agree is the top dog?
You know what? I don't know where this list came from, but I did see one previously that had Myles Garrett and TJ Watt 1A and 1B. Okay. And they could not make the distinction of who would be number 1 based upon 2 different positions that they play. TJ Watt's a stand up in a 3-4. Myles Garrett, hand in the dirt, defensive end. Play 2 different style and schemes, right?
Yeah.
But if you take either guy and you put them on any team, they're still going to be like me, apex predator. They're still going to attack quarterbacks. They're still going to be probably the best in the game at what they do within the schemes that they play. I think TJ.
So who's the
TJ
best?
is based. Again, I'm going to say 1A and 1B because of the scheme. It's kind of hard. Could you take Myles Garrett and put him on the Steelers in a 3-4?
No,
and him still be very dominant.
Put TJ as an edge.
Right. And they're not going to be as dominant, but in the schemes that they are in, both of those guys are unstoppable. And what I love about TJ is his flexibility to be able to rush the passer, his flexibility to be able to cover running backs out of the backfield if he wanted to. Heck, he's like his brother, except more athletic, quite honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, so I would have to say 1A and 1B, but I would probably give the edge to TJ because he's my guy. And Cleveland can go bite one.
But we all ultimately know that statistic and that acknowledgement is also due, in fact, because of the guy on the other side of the line who gets some attention as well. And I think that's what really helps. That's what helped TJ. We'll see what happens this year with.
I was not much of a Bud Dupree guy.
Oh, you chops.
I was not much
Not
of a
early,
Bud
not
Dupree
earlier,
guy.
but now.
We'll see, because when myself, Mike, Doc, and Matrix watch the games, I am always texting. Look, when he gets blocked, Bud Dupree is not getting to the quarterback. Bud Dupree gets to the quarterback when he is unblocked. He's going to a new team now. It stinks because he's coming off the ACL, but I was just never a Bud Dupree guy. I just wasn't. I mean, I wasn't, but we'll see. We'll see. And again, it's hard for me to go against TJ Watt again, because I'm a Steeler. He's my guy. You know what I mean? He's a Steeler dude. He got hosed last year. I mean, I think we can all agree on that, you know?
Now,
So,
I'm going to say this. I agree with the Myles Garrett being top dog. So right now, if you tell me straight up across the board, you give me those top 5 and I have the first pick, I'm probably taking Myles Garrett. I like his game, right? And especially what we touched on in our show the other night with Jadeveon Clowney being there now in Cleveland, he might go bonkers.
That's what I was going to ask you.
That could be a whole different ball game. But my question was, would we all agree? So we see you guys are saying TJ. I'm saying Myles Garrett. I don't. Khalil Mack. Could you make the argument for him? I mean,
I like him,
up, but he is a monster.
He's been dinged up.
Talking about straight edge rushers.
I like Khalil Mack. He's been dinged up. What you got on the mark? I'm sorry.
I was going to say, personally, I understand why you say Garrett, because Garrett didn't really have anybody performing on the other side of him. They picked up the guy from the Giants. I'm drawing a blank on his name. Help me out here. Pierre Olivier. Right. That's the guy who used to be on the other side.
Yeah.
He was a stud with the Giants. He came to the Cleveland Browns and he became a Cleveland Brown. Okay. He probably still had to cause some havoc for Myles Garrett to have the success he had. I don't think Jadeveon Clowney is going to be the answer at the other side. I'm sorry. Looking at Clowney's numbers, looking at what he's done throughout the course of his career does not convince me that he's going to be the difference in Myles Garrett being number one. We will find out about TJ though.
Mark, but he already won. Myles Garrett legitimately is already that guy before Clowney even played a snap.
Right. And so is
got the
TJ Watt,
inside
though.
track. What's Joey say about all this? You guys talk to Joey. What's he saying?
Joey ain't gonna say nothing. Joey's the defensive coordinator. Joey ain't saying nothing, right? Joey has aspirations and dreams of winning a title in Cleveland and having the number 1 ranked defense in the NFL and ultimately probably continue to grow and be a head coach. So he ain't gonna say nothing, but you can see what the organization is saying just by, you know, the method of their madness, how they drafted. Like we talked about, they got the kid out of Notre Dame, the linebacker that just fell to them.
They solidified their linebacker
coming back. You have Greedy Williams coming back. Those are 2 LSU kids that really didn't get no run due to injuries last year. So it's like you're adding them to this draft class too. They're going to be a dangerous team because OBJ is coming back.
Yes, and he has a full camp. And the Browns, to me, as we said on our show, were thin at linebacker and D-back. Through the draft and some free agency, they indeed have, you know, they've solidified that. And regardless, and I know they think we're Homer because, you know, Joey grew up with us and whatever, but look at his footprint. Every team Joey has left, he left significantly better than when he found it. And now they on paper, the Browns are loaded. And I don't want to get into them jokers, the mistake by the lake as we call it, but we got to give him respect. And Clowney's only 28. He still has ball in him, the potential, the most dangerous word in, you know, the English language, but he has the potential to be one of the best. He just hasn't. You know, not
when you look at I was here in Houston, Chop, so I've seen him play. The kid has talent. Quite honestly, it's always been injuries. It's been injury based. But yeah, there's a reason. He's a freak. And when he's playing at his top potential, you know what's funny about him though, is that a lot of people want those splash plays. They want him to rush the passer, but he is excellent. And I mean excellent against the run as well.
Yeah.
He's phenomenal. And so when you kind of look back at his career and you look back even to that big hit, you know, back in college against Michigan when he you know knocked the snot out of some guy. That's the type of plays he's been making in the NFL as well. It's just that you don't see the big splash because of where he's been and how, you know, the injuries. But he's going to make a big difference up there in Cleveland, I think.
If he stays healthy. Because
if he stays healthy.
That's it.
You know, I mean, the bottom line is I'm not as down on a Steeler team as other people are. How we sidetracked on this. I'm not as down on Ben Roethlisberger as other people are. Yes, I'm a homer. I get it. but they're throwing that team completely under the bus, like they're going to be the 4th place team in that division before they've even taken a snap with guys that have already proven themselves. And we'll find out. I am not as sold, on the other hand, on Cleveland. We're going to see when the pressure's on them that they have to win because they did what they did last year. Can they take the next step and win that second playoff game or get to that AFC championship?
They played in the AFC championship game. They just came out of the AFC championship game with Cleveland.
Who?
The Browns.
Or the Browns. They played the Chiefs.
Oh,
No.
my bad. My bad.
Right?
I don't think that was the championship game.
No, that was a divisional
Round game? Was that
Yes.
who did Chiefs play? Who did
The
second round.
Who knocked the Chiefs out?
Chiefs.
Nobody. Chiefs played the
Bucks
Super
and
Bowl.
Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
Who they
Oh,
beat in
that's
the
right.
AFC championship? Who they beat in the AFC championship game?
The Bills.
The Bills.
Buffalo.
That's right.
That's
okay.
right.
Whoa.
That's right.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this real
Yeah, my
quick. And
bad.
again, I didn't want to go
My
down the
bad.
road. Of all of the 4 teams in the AFC North, what have the Steelers done to make you look forward, Mark, to next year? Because I'm a homer and I want to be there. I want to get there. So what have they done in the offseason that makes you look forward and geeked about this coming season?
Juju's
Same thing
brand.
they do. You know what? My answer would be the same thing every year. They
Who
do the
said
same
that?
thing every year. They do absolutely nothing that makes me excited. Not a damn thing. The drafting Najee Harris was a great start, but they got rid of the whole offensive line, man.
And Mark, I'm with you.
You
I'm
know,
with you.
that doesn't excite me. You know who the pressure's on? The pressure's on Adrian Clem. That's who the pressure's on for the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's who you want to talk about Ben Roethlisberger. This ain't about Ben Roethlisberger. This is about Adrian Clem molding those 5 guys across the front to replace the previous 5 guys to make that team productive so that Najee Harris can get his whatever they're expecting from him, and so that Ben has time to complete the ball to the group of receivers that are so highly touted. I'm not saying that they've done anything to get better, but they haven't made me feel like that they've taken giant steps backwards.
Their entire line could be completely new starters, or at least, if not a starter, only 1 year experience in a new position, right? Because
Yeah.
you could have Chuck's moving to left tackle is the plan, which is his first year, and he only won the right tackle job because Banner went down with an ACL at the first game.
Yes.
Left guard, you got Dotson, who should have been starting there regardless, but
Yeah.
now he's starting. Is Green going to be the center? Then you
Yes.
got right guard, you got Turner coming in, and then they got Banner at right tackle. That's a completely different line.
Yep.
With Najee Harris
know,
back there, I get it, but that is a completely different line with Pouncey gone, DeCastro gone, Villanueva gone. I know people were upset with them about how they played, but
I
they
think
were solid veterans to
it's still
to
sus
some
what?
extent.
why
Go ahead,
Munchak
sir.
left. That's still like
Yeah.
in the back of my mind. I'm
Yeah,
like,
man.
why did he just?
They said because his daughter or something, grandkids out in
I don't buy it.
Colorado, be around
I don't buy
family.
it.
I
I
don't
didn't
know.
buy it.
My
They're a more
thing-
athletic offensive line, though. When you look at those names across the
Absolutely.
board, much more athletic, much
Absolutely.
more able to get out there in space. So you can see a different offense. And when you look at Canada and the way he runs an offense, it's a
Yeah.
lot of movement, fellas. It's those linemen, those big uglies getting out there
Yeah.
5 yards, 10 yards down the field and being able to block. They couldn't do that with Big Al. They couldn't do that
Preach.
with Ponce, with his, I don't know, his
But
decrepit
fellas,
legs
there's a-
moving
there's
around
a
like
lot
he
to
was
be
moving
said-
last
there's a
year.
lot-
This
there's a
team
lot
will
to
be
be
a lot, yeah.
Does
What'd you say,
Nigel
Chubbs?
win offensive rookie of the year? You felt
But there's
No.
a lot to be said about a team that gels. I mean, it's their first year. We'll see. First year starting offensive line and a rookie running back.
he's
We'll
going and
see.
he's going to get some work. He's going to get the carries. He's going to get the catches.
I don't
off the
believe that.
backfield. You don't
My-
think?
My prediction is that he's going to get 900 yards, but the guy that's going to be the wild card is Benny Snell.
I hear
He's
what
going to
you're
get
saying.
more.
I
He's going
love
to get more of the
Snell.
bell cow carries. He's probably going to go about 600, 700 himself. I guarantee you.
I love Snell.
Don't be surprised if he texts you to be on your podcast because I don't know if Benny Snell's going to make that team.
Yeah, I'm with you, Mark. I'm with
He
you.
makes
I don't
that
know if he
team.
can-
I'm with you.
Ooh.
He makes
I'm
it.
with you.
I don't know, man. That kid that they signed, Dulage, is that his name? The kid that they signed from
Yeah.
Miami. They're
Yeah.
high as hell on him. They are high as hell on him. Then they got the kid from Maryland. the kid from Maryland.
McFarland.
Loved him.
McFarland.
They
Benny
loved him.
Snell
What
makes
is
that
Benny's
team.
role? What is Benny's role? What has Benny done the last 2 years to convince you?
Benny had a great
has a
opening
defined
game
role.
last year. Game 1 against the Giants. That's where Benny was a stud. After that, what did Benny do?
Najee's he's an every down back.
Benny, he is an every down back, but the bottom line is you can't rely on a rookie as an every down back yet, not in the NFL. So therefore,
Why not?
he's going to platoon early. He's going to
Why
platoon
would
early
you draft him 24 overall if you can't depend on him?
because you had to get better at running back.
Come on, and they did. They got
They got better, but I'm
saying.
saying the first 5-6 games, he is not going to be the bell cow. He's not. You're going to split those carries, and I think it works out in their favor to have a dual backfield like a lot of teams are going to.
Yeah.
Than to just go out there and say, hey, you know what? Take this running back that had thousands of carries at Alabama and put him behind the Steelers offensive line, and then take another 1,000 carries for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Why do that?
It
Doesn't
that's
make any
what they
sense.
do. That's what Lev Bell was saying.
But in the Canada offense, it won't be that way anyway.
It won't.
It'll be a lot of
That's true.
misdirection.
That's
There'll be a
true.
lot of
That's
use
true.
of a lot of different guys.
You know,
That's
what I
fair.
didn't understand about that, and I do want to move away from talking Pittsburgh Steelers football, but what I didn't understand was when they came out of the gates last year, Canada's fingerprints were all over the creativity of that offense. A lot of motion, a lot of deception, a lot of and all of a sudden that team went into the shitter in terms of offense, not because of health, but because it went back to the same old thing, what they did. And I didn't understand why they got away from it. I don't know if that was because Ben said, I'm not doing this anymore. If it was because, Fiedner didn't buy into it. I don't know what happened there, but I believe in what you're saying about Canada. I watched him do it down here with Maryland. We've seen him do it at Pitt. He did some of it at LSU. I think it will be a more creative and exciting offense to watch as long as Ben doesn't try and put the kibosh on the creativity.
We'll see. I'm ready. I know that.
Hey, basketball guys, this is you guys from TSPP. The Bucks, they finally stole. No, they didn't steal it. They got one last night. Okay, it was a solid W for them, right? A lot of people were saying that the Bucks are going to take this thing. Are the Bucks going to take this thing? Does Jonas have enough people around him? I like the kid. I'm so happy he's in Milwaukee. I love this series. Not a single guy on either one of these teams is don't a ring. But can the Bucks walk away with this? Chops, go ahead. Can the Bucks walk away with this?
Well, I had picked the Bucks to represent the East at the beginning of the season, but I thought they'd be playing the Lakers and lose to the Lakers. On paper, the Suns are the better team. However, you have two guys that are first all-team NBA defense on the Bucks. Defense travels. I really like what the Bucks are doing. I think they're legit. My key to it, as I said, they need to be more aggressive. Giannis need not take another three the rest of the series. 15 feet and in. He should live in the paint, get DeAndre Ayton in foul trouble, and just destroy everybody that's in front of him in the paint. That is what I'm saying. Stop shooting 3-pointers and be more aggressive. That's my take on it. That's how, and I think they can. That I think they can win it. I'm still going with a 7-game series. I'm still going with the Bucks. 7-game series. I got the Bucks. I got the Bucks.
They're not walking away with it, but I think they could definitely pull. They showed that when they do in the huddle, like the coaches' comments and stuff, and they showed the Bucks coach. I think
Coach Bud.
He's like, just shoot the ball and have fun. Listen, Bucky Trillo had a better game plan than that one playing CYO ball. Okay,
he's in trouble, Terry, if they don't win. He had it
scripted what we were running. Game 3, I think he saw himself and he put a better game plan in. And I agree with Chops. You got to put that guy on a block. Let him play. Keep him out away from the perimeter. When they played big and not try to play with the Suns, they played their own game, and I think they gave it to them. I think the Bucks can win it as well.
Yeah, Terry, listen. At the end of the day, each team did what they were supposed to do, right? Phoenix won at home, first 2. Milwaukee comes back to home after getting banged out game 1, banged out game 2. They turn around and we bang you out. They beat Phoenix by 20 on their home court, right? So as far as they're looking at it, okay, we're doing what we're supposed to do. And like I told the boys on our pod, it's just that one game because everybody keeps saying it's going to go 7. Somebody got to steal one. Whoever still wins and holds serves at home, that's who's going to win a championship. I think they can get it done. And I want to ask you fellas this because me and the boys had this conversation. You guys, like you said, Terry, Greek Freak needs to be down there not taking threes. You and Chops agree. I agree wholeheartedly. But as long as he's putting up 37, 40, 41, 45, as long as he's doing that and one other player is playing consistent, they have a chance. Who do you think that player is for Milwaukee? Who else has to be just consistent to make them that team? Go ahead, Will. Who you got?
Middle.
Exactly. That's what I said. That's what I said. That's exactly what I said.
I like Holiday.
Why does it have to be Middleton?
Science.
Who said Holiday? Who just said that?
I like Holiday.
That's what
Okay,
I was
Chops.
thinking. I was thinking Drew Holiday.
That's what I just said last show.
You
The
already
reason is
got
because
the all defense from him. You already
it
got
doesn't
that.
matter. Here's the point. Middleton already gives you a consistent game. He's always consistent. He is steady Eddie every game. He's 20 points. He's 7 assists, 6 rebounds. Drew Holiday, if he comes in and gives you the 20 points, which he had last game, and also plays the defense, he is the game changer. Lopez comes in and gives you 11 points. That's how they got to 120.
Yeah.
But when you look at the Suns, go back and look at what Chris Paul did. He had a horrible game. He turned the ball over like crazy. Booker had a horrible game, right? He didn't even play to his potential. If Drew Holiday plays well, it keeps you in the game because Chris Paul's not going to mess up again. Booker's going to have a bounce back game. Ayton should be the MVP because he's been steady Eddie for his squad. If it comes down to it, Drew Holiday has to play well. That's my opinion, but I still give it to the Suns. That's my team.
I'm riding the Suns too. I'm with you. I just think that they got just a little bit more tenacity in terms of getting this done. I think there's a little bit more hunger there. Just from my perspective, you know, I do like the fact that the boy from Pittsburgh, Cam Johnson, posterized what's his name? That was ridiculous. I watched it about 10 times today.
Mark, when you think about that,
Tucker.
he was playing at Pitt, transferred, went to UNC. I mean, we don't even need to get in that. That's a whole conversation.
He's got family down there. That's a good choice.
So what? He was at
That's a good choice. Where would you go?
No, I'm saying he left to go to UNC. He transferred.
That's what I'm saying. Where would you go? Where would you
I
go?
transfer.
Where would
Stay
you go?
there. That's what I'm saying. The whole point is
Stayed at Pitt.
about everybody
leave.
transferring out of there. You had a kid that transferred who's dunking and posterizing people in the NBA finals, and he was at Pitt 2 years ago.
That was amazing. Hey,
And he wasn't doing that at Pitt, though. I'm just letting you know.
you know that
He got NBA hops now.
I don't care. He was at Pitt.
Interesting. You should say that because they say what a great kid he is.
Will likes that.
What's missing with the Capel team though? Because you know he had a bunch of dudes run out the door after this past season. He had his top 2 guys take off before the season even ended. I like Capel, but there's something clicking right there with him. I mean, I know here we go. We're continuing to talk Pittsburgh. Something right there though with Capel. I mean, where's the disconnect?
Did he go in there and clean? Did he go in there and set a totally different mindset? Listen, I understand what all you signed up for and what coach that was, this and this and that, but I'm new head coach and this is my philosophy and this is how we're going to do it. And those of you that don't want to get on board, by all means, I will help you find a way to be successful in your academic and your scholastic and your athletic careers, right? And help them transfer out. Is that the situation? I don't know. But I know it appears that either he cleaned house or a lot of people just left because of that reason, because what else would be the reason to jump ship like that?
I don't know where are they going. Are they going for a better opportunity? Are they going to get away from him?
I didn't see anybody go someplace else. It's going to be
Well, Cam went to
Do
UNC.
work.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, he went to
UNC,
UNC, but outside of that, nothing big. But
Didn't
still,
Murphy? Who's Murphy? Trent? Yeah. I mean,
somebody.
you know-
one of them transferred to Rutgers.
yeah.
You know what, fellas? But if you look at it, Capel may have, and I've heard he has, the
He got
same similar philosophy as Coach K.
Coach K.
If you know as Coach K, he's a maniac. He's a maniac when it comes to practices, very demanding, who knows how capable is if he's that demanding. But if he's trying to develop a system, develop a program that is going to be based off toughness, no prima donnas, he's doing that.
And
so you got to give the guy
now.
some time,
Yeah.
So
some recruits. It
is what it is.
Recruits.
Yeah.
And the guys that he lost were prima donnas. A lot of the guys he did lose.
Were you shocked that Capel didn't get a shot at the Duke program then?
No, not at all.
I wasn't, because he hasn't established him. If he went to Pitt and lit it up and made a turn, made a little small run or something like that, because you got old boy that had been sitting beside Mike Krzyzewski for years.
Yeah.
Like years.
Yeah.
I think that there was an understanding that everybody on this bench, you can be a part of this tree and I'll endorse you and we'll get you where you need to be. But the next opportunity is going to this man right here.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Interesting. Hey, moving on from some basketball again, going into our final little piece here. Zyla Avante Garde in the spelling bee, the 14-year-old was from New Orleans. Mike Doctor, she's in your neighborhood down there, offered 2 scholarships, one to LSU, one to Southern, and then more came in over the last 24 to 48 hours. Based on her academic prowess, this girl is 14 years old, won a spelling bee. Is this a breath of fresh air to you guys? Do you see a young person being offered an academic opportunity for being smart? Or are we pushing the envelope like we do with sports in terms of, giving somebody something before they've actually earned their way to where they need to be? But this girl's 14 years old. She's 8th, 9th grade going forward.
Right.
To my understanding, though, she's a pretty good basketball player.
She's a hooper.
But what's your feelings on this? Should we be offering academic scholarships to somebody because they win the spelling bee? They're 14 years old. I mean,
well, let me hit this one, because like you said, she's down here in my area. I'm down here in Louisiana. She's from the New Orleans area. So in 2019, she placed 370th in the Scripps National Spelling Bee. So she turns around now, she wins it, right? Which is great. And the word she won it on, I couldn't even spell. I misspelled it when I seen the video.
Can you pronounce it? I can't even pronounce it.
It was it wasn't that hard. I don't remember what it was, but it wasn't that hard. I think I put an E in there or something like that. But at the end of the day, look, 370th in 2019. She wins it. She has multiple Guinness World Records, whether that's a true level of achievement or reflection of athletic ability or not, regarding basketball, having dribbled the most basketball continuously for X amount of time and did this and that. She has videos out there where she is all over the court making moves with trash can barrels and cones and hitting jumpers. She's legitimate. That's her dream. That's her goal. You take the fact that she's the first African-American in a 96-year history of the Scripps Spelling Bee to win it. That within itself is recognition enough. That gives her the spotlight and a platform to do what she's trying to do, which is her basketball thing. And oh, by the way, I just happen to be pretty darn smart. So as far as the academic, achievements and the opportunities that's being thrown her way now, why not? If you're going to offer a kid in 6th, 7th grade a full ride to USC as a quarterback that plays junior high, we all know that these things happen. Why not do it for someone that you see as an academic genius? I guarantee you MIT are identifying people at a young age that are going to be productive in the academic and research arena. Yeah. So, and they offer to do that. That's recruitment, Terry. Am I wrong?
I teach. No, you're absolutely right. And I teach in one of the top schools in Maryland. It's a magnet school. Kids test into the program and they get internships every summer. They go work with these companies, and companies are seeing the work that they're doing, like at NIH, NIST, Lockheed Martin. These companies are like blown away by the work these kids are doing, and they're giving those kids scholarships before they graduate to go to a university with the agreement that they'll come back and work for that company for a certain amount of time. I don't think it's unrealistic. I don't think it's ridiculous. God bless this girl, 14, getting this opportunity. She's her butt and she deserves it.
Yeah.
I think it's a breath of fresh air personally. That's why I put that put that little phrase in there earlier. I like seeing somebody achieve academically and get recognized early on in life. I don't think they should be knocked down because they're smart. I'm happy as hell for the girl. She ends up playing basketball wherever she goes. God bless her. She also said that her dream is to go to Harvard. I have not seen the list of other places that have offered her, but I'm certainly hoping that Harvard has put their name on that list of places. So
think about being like, I'm proud of my kids, right? But think about being the father of the Scripps Spelling Bee champion, the kid that's getting all these academic scholarships, following this big achievement, the kid that's everything, athletic and just doing it at age, what, 13?
14.
Yeah.
She's 14.
She is focused on things that most 14-year-olds are not.
Yeah. Yep. And I'm proud. I'm proud to be able to sit here and talk about her, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, man.
I mean, I'm gushing. I as a teacher, one of the things that I've missed this year as a teacher has been sitting in a classroom with 30 kids and just watching the light bulb go off when I teach them something, and then come at me with a more creative and exciting idea to make things more enlightening for me as their teacher. So, yeah, God bless her.
Stuff.
Hey, I do this little piece at the end. It's called Shocking Facts. Terry, Will, you guys know what I'm talking about. Hopefully my guys from TSPB, hopefully you guys have brought something along. My shocking fact, I already revealed it. It's amazing to me that a team as poor as the Pittsburgh Pirates has 2 starting players in the Major League Baseball All Star game tonight. I don't know the last time I saw something like that happen. That's my shocking fact. Let me go ahead and go to the mic doctor. What kind of shocking fact? Do you have one for us this evening?
A shocking fact for today, or just in general with sports?
In sports or today.
Okay, I'll keep it honest with you. This is a shocking fact, and we touched on it earlier, and I'm going to talk about Ohtani. It is amazing to me that man left his country, his family, his culture, everything he knows to pursue a Major League Baseball career in America, not really being able to speak the language that well. We see a lot of times people do that for the American dream, and they find their way in the hustle and bustle of the everyday grinding, pounding the street type of jobs.
Sure.
But not on the level of the Major League Baseball, where you have the cameras in your face and you have the reporters in your face, and you're leading Major League Baseball in home runs, and you're an all-star player, you're leading off an all-star game. You're the face of that franchise. And we touched on that. I find that shocking to me that he is able to do that. And everything, his goal, everything that he is pursuing is translating. I find that shocking because we all have dreams. I don't know that I could do that, fellas. I don't know that I could do
cultural differences, like you mentioned earlier, not being able to speak the language.
Yeah.
That's
crazy.
Do you see his catcher? Do you see his catcher yesterday though during the home run derby?
No.
Like me back there catching. He's like 5'4".
Probably a childhood friend, maybe.
He's like, Shoei, please hit the ball. Don't let me hit. Don't let me catch this.
Yeah.
He had the little chest protector on.
But that's my mark. That to me, that's it.
That is shocking.
Impressive.
I'll give it to you.
Impressive.
His ERA is 2.5. There's a 2.5 ERA. That's insane to me.
Yeah.
Terry, what do you got? You got a shocking fact?
I got 2. Number 1. Have you guys seen the post last week from the Mike Doctor? Did you see that seafood boil? What's up? That thing was delicious. I saw that. That was,
Okay.
Man. I was ready to get on a plane and come down and join you.
Man, Terry, anytime you have an opportunity, or you have, to put tire to concrete, or to
that was shocking. That was shocking.
I got you, man.
It was banging. But anyway, going back to the baseball thing, because I guess that's the period of time we're in. I like the California Angels top 20 picks. Do you see that? Shocking news. All pitchers. 20 out of 20 pitchers. Where are they going? And you guys said the way with the league is with the bat. I guess the Angels disagree with you.
Yeah.
20 pitchers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can
That's
never have
outstanding.
enough pitching. You can't hit if I could pitch. And we talked about this on our show, fellas. What's the most highest pressure moment in all of sports? Is it bottom of the ninth, full count, down by one, bases loaded? You got to make a decision on the swing. Is it game 7 NBA finals, last jumper to win the game? Is it the catch in the NFL for a Super Bowl win? Is it the
And what did I tell you? I said it's the kick in soccer. And what did you have happen right now with England? So I'm not even going to go there. I'm not going to. I digress.
Viva Italia.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Hey, I don't really have a shocking fact, Mark. You know why? Because I leave all of our facts to the Mike Doc when he gives the sports fun fact of the day.
Yeah. Hey,
So
talk about that for us, Mike Doc.
I just leave that with him. You know,
man,
what I mean?
it's just a sport fun fact of the day, man. We like to do what I like to do is, and I learned it early in my military career, man. I was in a position as a young officer, and the leadership had me say, you know what? Every time you come here, you better bring a new fact that nobody knows. So I just started Googling, like, the Rubik's Cube was invented today, and people would go crazy, like, whoa, the Rubik's Cube, remember the Rubik's Cube? And then so on and so forth. So I just thought about it in our pod. Let's do it for sports. And there's some interesting facts. And sometimes they don't like it. Like the high school kid that scored 170 something points. Is that bigger than Wilt Chamberlain scoring 100? He did it in a high school game. Things like that you don't normally hear. That's the sports fun fact of the day, man. I
enjoy hearing that every day.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
It's no. It's not that we don't like it. He takes and uses 15 words when 4 will do. It's like being in an insurance seminar when he gives the fun fact.
It's because it's the sports fun fact of the day.
Listen, that's what makes him dynamic. That's why he's the
my
doctor.
fact, my outrageous fact, again, going because I'm a homer, the Steelers, the Pirates, and the Penguins are the only city who all their major sports teams have the same colors. Pittsburgh.
But they're talking about this. I almost said the Skins. They were talking about it today because people haven't decided on a name. They said once they get that name, if it goes like military or it goes like a theme, they're going to say red, white, and blue, and the Caps, Nationals, and whatever the football team, they'll have the same. But
then they'll have to change it because right now they're maroon and gold.
Yeah, you're saying Washington.
That's what I'm saying. They're going to change it.
Yeah, they got to change it. It's always been that way in Pittsburgh. We'll go with that.
That's the Washington football team. That's the Washington, not to be, but that's the Washington Redskins. And now the Washington football team completely changed their colors.
Ooh, that's what they're talking about.
That'll take some getting used to.
Yeah, well.
Riggins, John Riggins coming up out of there in the street. John Riggins.
They don't do anything. They don't do anything like you think it should be or the way it normally would be. They do things a whole different way down
that's
here.
Ownership.
Hey, listen, I've lived here for what, Young? We've lived here 23 years.
Yeah.
Like 23 years. There's 50% Redskin fans, 50% Cowboy fans down here. I've always scratched my head trying to figure that out. Are you a DC resident, born and raised? When was the last time you were in Dallas that you were a Dallas fan? And you know what most of them tell me? I just don't want to hear the Redskins talk, so I root for Dallas. Okay.
Hey, Mark. Hey, before we get out of here, my man Will, man, I want to give him one more shot on the Pirates, man. I want to know how many wins he think the Pirates end up with this season, man.
This is his shocking fact right here.
How many wins are you giving the Buccos?
I actually have a shocking fact. This year in the MLB draft, the Oakland A's selected Max Muncy, and if that's the A's actually selected the Dodgers Max Muncy 9 years ago, and the two actually share a birthday, and they're not related, like 9 years apart.
Oh, that's crazy.
Interesting.
That's a cool fact.
That's crazy.
For the Pirates, I think they end up with like 70 wins.
When they getting hot, Will?
They got 34 right now.
September?
They got 34.
34 plus 34 is 68.
I think they get 72. I think they get. I mean, if they don't.
What's the threshold of mediocrity?
For the Pirates?
For anybody. What's the threshold? You say you got to at least win 90 games, or you got to at least win.
No, 90 gets you in the playoffs.
I'm saying, what is the threshold? What's the threshold? What's the threshold of mediocrity?
81.
The threshold is probably 75 wins.
You think? I
Yeah.
think 80,
Yeah.
80, 81, 82.
That's mediocrity.
That's
Yeah.
almost that's
That's
500.
acceptable.
162 game
81's
season.
500.
So
81's
500. Yeah, that's true.
No.
That's true. So 500 is 500 is okay in MLB. Is that okay? Does that get it done?
Nah.
No.
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 Think about this. The
Not at
last
all.
time the Pirates were in the playoffs, no, the time before last, like 2014-15, they won 98 games. They had the second best record in baseball. They came in second to the Cardinals with 98 games. And the only reason they didn't push past the Cardinals is because their owner didn't want to spend a little wee bit of cash to get one player or two players that would have pushed them over the edge. You know, and there we go. Back to the beginning. Hey, guys from the Sports Podium Podcast, I want to thank you guys for coming on, joining my bullshit crew here, my barbershop guys, Terry Young, Will Franciscus. It's been a fun night. I know we went a lot longer than you wanted to, Mar, but I appreciate you sticking around. All your input
no
always
problem.
means a lot to
No
me.
problem. I appreciate it.
Hey, don't forget to check these guys out one more time. Mike Doctor, tell us where we can catch you at, when we
Man,
can catch
you
you.
can catch TSPP, the Sports Podium Podcast, on all listening platforms. I don't care where you at, what you doing. You can reach out on any of those platforms, and you can download TSPP. We keep it 100. It comes every Tuesday. Sometimes we drop on Friday. We do a lot of collabs. You can reach us. Follow us on Twitter at The Sports Podium Pod, Instagram at The Sports Podium Podcast, and on Facebook at The Sports Podium Podcast. Follow us. We on the come up. You better pay attention.
Thanks again, guys. Again, Original Sports Podcast with Mark Maraday and his crew. We'll catch y'all again soon.